Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Shadow Chandelure in the Halloween Cup. This Pokemon is going to do a ton of damage. This is an insane glass cannon, most likely even squishier than a Haunter, but it's going to do a lot of damage with the Fast Move Incinerate plus the Flame Charge boost. So you're going to see a team with Charger Bug in the lead, which is kind of okay. You're going to have some struggles against any kind of Rock-type Pokemon, of course, which is mainly in this meta the Carbink. But what I'm not really okay with is going to be the moveset here a little bit, because I feel like for this team it would make way more sense to go for Exeter over Crunch, because Crunch is going to be a little bit more trickier against those Dark-type Pokemon, especially something like a Gustlord with the backline that you have. Also, here, this player is running an interesting team with Fire Blast Shadow Ball variant of the Alolan Marowak as a Sasop here, and of course the Shadow Chandelure in the back, which is going to hopefully go up against some Pokemon that are weak to it, because a lot of Pokemon actually kind of weak to those Fire-type Pokemon in this meta. But as you're going to see here, you can still go ahead and go for a Discharge with your Charger Bug. Going to be able to hit this Discharge, going to knock out the opponent, and also now we're going to see the Victory Bell in the back, which actually just forfeits immediately after seeing the Chandelure. So, good game there. Let's take a look at the next game. We're going to encounter a Shadow Mawile in the lead. You're going to see the swap immediately into the Marowak, and we will see them forfeiting. So, fast battle so far. Let's take a look what the next battle is going to give us here. We're going to see the Toxart completely destroy you here. Moving on to the next game, let's take a look what they're going to run here. We're going to see the Charger Bug in the lead, so you want to swap out immediately, as you're going to have two good answers for Charger Bug in the back. I really hope that we can see at least like one sweep with the Chandelure there. That would be amazing, as you're going to be able to get the Shadow Ball off against the opponent here. And let's see if they're going to run the Hydro Pump. They are running the Play Rough, which will allow you to get to another Shadow Ball and force the shield or the knockout against the opponent. Let's see what they're going to go for. They're going to let the Azumarill go through, and now we're going to see just the Charger Bug in the back, which is going to go up against, okay, I would have actually went to my own Charger Bug first, just to get rid of the energy from the opponent, but you decide to go into your Chandelure instead. You're going to get the defense drop, which is on this Pokemon even worse, and you're going to invest 2 shields into this Pokemon, which is going to be interesting as the opponent stays in there. Most likely going to be weak in the back. It's going to be a Wormadam, but sadly, you are not going to be really in the best spot here either. You can still get a shield from the opponent, but you're now going to get farmed down. It's down to the Charger Bug to win this game. Can Charger Bug basically win this game for you? Both of you have a 4-turn fast move, so it's going to always allow the opponent to sneak one in there. But let's see here, we're gonna see the Discharge coming through. Gonna get the shield from the opponent. Can you still reach the Discharge in time? You can, and this is going to be a good game there. What a game. Honestly, that was so wild. Moving on to the next one, let's take a look what they're going to run here. We're going to see a Mawile in the lead again, so you want to swap out immediately, as they're usually running Fire Fang, and here we will see the Umbreon coming in. Hopefully we're going to see a Fire Blast landing here. It would not knock them out, but would get them fairly low, and yes, they can still survive one charge move. You can go for the Fire Blast, and let's take a look at how much damage this is going to do here. It is going to actually land, which is amazing for you, and they can farm you all the way down, which is not amazing for you. So you're going to go ahead and go into your Charger Bug. I would imagine as you can just go for one fast move and knock them out with this one. As you're going to let this move go through, you're going to easily survive a foul play here, and you can still use 2 shields now for the Pokemon in the back here, which is going to be the Chandelure, and this might be the sweep that we're all waiting for. It's going to be against another Charger Bug, as well as, of course, still the Mawile that's lurking in the back. You're going to have to use a shield here. I think you even have to use another shield, though, because I went for the Exeter, and they're gonna get to the next move, sadly, a little bit in time there, but you can at least still use a shield here. It's going to be such a close one. Can you still do enough damage against the opponent's Mawile? It did so much damage. Did you see that? It looked like a charge move, but it's just a fast move here. But sadly, maybe, actually, you're still going to be fine. You can still go for a charge move. This should only be a power-up punch as far as I can see. It's an Iron Head, never mind, I cannot count, but it's totally fine because it's still resistance, and it's still gonna get to the Discharge to win this game. What a game there again. But what we already see here in those few games is that the Charger Bug, the Chandelure, is literally the squishiest Pokemon ever. We're gonna get here the Sableye out, which is kind of nice for you, but you kind of want to keep your other Pokemon alive as well. Your Charger Bug is very valuable for you, especially against the Azumarill, as you're going to be able to go for Crunch here, I thought, but I guess you're just going to go for the full farmland with Volt Switch, which is a little bit risky and does not work out because you have to swap out first and you're going to get hit by a foul play here, and this is definitely not ideal. So you're in a really bad spot, like a really bad spot. You can still go for you cannot even go for a Shadow. Are they actually swapping out to the Paloston, which is kind of funny, but you can just go for the Flame Charge here, which is not going to really hit too much. And you're gonna get the shield, which is kind of nice. But we haven't seen like any real charge move hit from Okay. Honestly, I have no idea. Like, the opponent, if they just stayed in there with their carbink, they would have completely annihilated you. Okay, it's fine. You're gonna see here that you can farm down a Wormadam at least, which is cool, as the Toxapex comes back. Not player there at all. They could have just literally knocked you out there, but maybe they wanted to tank. I'm not sure about it, but what are they supposed to do? They cannot catch a break here, and you can just knock them out as well. Good game there. You can, which is kind of nice, and as I said before, like that was kind of predictable. That there's going to be this Pokemon in the back. The game is not over yet. The opponent would need to let this move go through, which they do, which is kind of nice, that round. But maybe with Crunch, actually have it. Oh, never mind, this game is over. I didn't expect that they had that much energy yet. But in the Marowak, you're going to let this move go through, as you're going to mostly just concede this match. God, into the Wormadam, and you can just completely annihilate them, but they can still get to a charge move before, which I did decent damage. Let's see if it lands. Oh, like, that's resisted damage. It's +1, but it's resisted still. Yes, Slayer, it's just, honestly, it's wild. Mawile is not really having the best time here, and we can move on to the next game. Okay, so they're gonna go for the foul play, but you can still survive it and go for the big Fire Blast here. They might you're gonna go for the Crunch. You need to get some damage onto the Nidoqueen, so I definitely appreciate this play. I feel like this is a great idea, but yeah, what are you supposed to do here? I mean, it's like a common kind of step with the Poison lead, which is just very bad for you, so we're going to now just skip this one and gonna move. You guys are gonna get out the Skeledirge, which is not as of an amazing one here. Yeah, what are you gonna do here? You're gonna swap out into your... Okay, that's true. You will be able to still go for another one here. They still always need 3, I think, but you can just knock them out, which is kind of nice. And you're gonna get a ton of damage here against the opponent's Toxapex, which is also kind of decent for you. So maybe there's still a chance of you winning this. This is going to be the best matchup for the Chandelure. Going to go for the full farm, and this should be only the power punch as far as I can see. Not gonna do too much damage, and you can just go for the double flame charge here, but the opponent decides to forfeit. So thanks for sending in those battles, and I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.